What's going on YouTube? It's J Sauce back again with another video, and today is not your ordinary scheduled NPBA battle. It's actually a different type of video. This is a new team recap almost. It's more so of a video to let you guys know that I made some transactions. 5 of them to be exact, 4 free agent moves and 1 trade. So yes, unfortunately, I hope you've not been getting attached. Half the team is gone. 5 out of my 9 mons have been switched. And I just kind of built this from, not scratch, but I just tried to piece together what I could find, some similar mons. My big thing was, one, I wasn't happy with the production of some of the mons, as you'll see. The first mine dropped, and secondly, it felt like I was bringing the same sets every week. I didn't feel like I didn't feel like I had a good means of a middle ground between creativeness and having good results. I felt like if I got creative with it, I would lose, but if I was using the standard sets that it likes, I would also just not have fun. So yes, comes into effect week 6 for our next battle. I dropped pretty much right after the DDA game. Yes, I could have played it better. Could I have won? Who knows? I just know that really woke me up to some of the weaknesses that this team has. So the first mod I dropped, if it wants to go, I actually dropped Chien Pao, my round 1 pick, the mod I was super excited to use. Coming in, I'm like, this mod's so good, there's no way I get it at 12. But I decided to trade it. I'm 3-0 in games I brought Chien Pao. Or, I'm 3-0 in games I didn't bring Chien Pao. And I'm 0-2 in games that I brought Chien Pao, and it's boasting a good old 0-2 record for itself. It's 21 points, but there's a few things that bugged me. It never felt as good as it should be. Even in matchups where it seems like it goes insane, there's always 1 or 2 mons that can come and just wall it and roost up. We saw Miltank as one of those, and then stuff like Blastoise, which yes can easily get chipped down. It never felt as good as it should be, quite frankly. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if I read that before or not. However, Chien Pao also has 4 natural resists in draft, which are super good. And I'm not talking about 4 mons, I'm talking about 4 types. You have your water types, your fairy types, 2 of the best defensive types in draft, as well as 2 other good types in steels, which is another good defensive type, and dark types. And yes, it does have Sacred Sword. However, I don't think Sacred Sword does as much as you want it to. It's mainly just the waters and the fairies that are on at least one on every team, where it's kind of finds itself not great. And yes, you could argue Spectre has the same problem. It likes to hit everything except for darks and normals. However, not every team has a normal, and while darks are common, I feel like one type is way more easy to build around than 4 types, and I think Spectre and Chien Pao are pretty close in power levels. Spec obviously can snowball a lot more easily. Chien Pao's got more of the natural breaking ability. Both are very good. Yeah, like I said, it feels like every team has at least 2 checks to it. Something that can come in, and while it does force a lot of prep, similar to the Chi I drafted last season, who had some of the same problems, it just, I don't know. I don't really know why, but it's not A1 in my mind. Like, yes, you can build a team around it, but I drafted it to be the guy. That guy, I put spec by it to break everything, and it's just not really done a great job of it, and it's almost becoming a hindrance because it does not support my other mods at all. Some of my other mods work well together, and then you stick a Chien Pao in there, you're like, what's blood doing? Like, it's. I just feel like because I'm now. I'll spoil it right now. I'm planning to build around Spectre a little bit, and Chien Pao can't do that. And it just finds itself dying very easily. You know, you got Mach Punch, Bullet Punch, as well as despite having like mid defenses, it feels like it takes 90% from everything. And yeah, I'm trading this with Mishmash Seth, fellow Johto coach, and pal of mine for Mega Diancie, who is 1 point cheaper, but it pairs with Spectre and others way better than Chien Pao did. It's an elite offensive mon with defensive capabilities because pre Mega Diancie has 150 base defense and SpDef, as well as having 100 base attacks. This means that I can run stuff like Toxic, stuff like Hazard Stack, support without lowering my defenses. It's got the coverage to super effectively hit most switch-ins. Poison types, steel types, both get earth powered. Ground types, I'm gonna be real. I don't think this gets grass knot. It may ground type is the really best switch in, but Moonblast is going to be doing a lot to those switch ins. Um, like I said, great support moves. It's just very versatile. You see stats; it can be offensive, defensive, support. And in terms of, it's a very impressive offensive versatility because it can be physical or special. Has Diamond Storm, has Body Press, and a bunch of just good coverage moves. You know, it's got Psychic for poisons as well, Mystical Fire for steals as well, and grass types. Um, yeah, it's just it can really do it all offensively, and I don't have to mega it turn one, so it can also do some stuff defensively. Secondly, I decided to drop Iron Treads. Iron Treads was fine. I liked it. It just felt like it got pigeonholed. It got limited to certain sets. It wasn't great at everything. You look at the stats, nothing really stands out. It was just mid at worst at everything it does, which is very solid, but I don't want to use 15 points on a mon like that, especially when having my ground type and my steel type open. Like, I don't have Iron Treads on the roster. Opens up so much creativity for me to pick and choose what mons I want, as ground steals are both very important types in draft. It was some good support, but I don't think it was bulky enough. Like, yes, you can have AV, but most of the time you're running a lot of speed on this mon, and it just no recovery or anything. It can just get chipped down super easily, and then you just find it dying a lot before it can really do anything. Um, and yeah, the offensive sets don't hit as hard as needed. 112 attack really isn't that good. Yes, you can proto attack, but then you have to be rapid spin to boost speed. And it's just like, I don't know. Anything that's not Earthquake or Iron Head doesn't do anything. I don't care what it is. I watched a SpDef Shaman take like 70% from an attack boosted Ice Spinner, and it killed back with an Earth Power. It's a good mon. I'm glad I tried it, but I would like something like Landorus or. I just felt like this team needed a specialist, and that's what I got. I picked up Corviknight. Like I hinted at week 5, except for I didn't really hint at it because I was originally going to do it. But yeah, Corviknight is just a specialist. It's a great defensive and slow pivot. It's gonna be a full-time wall with momentum, recovery, and removal. similar to treads, and yeah, recovery with roosts, sustainability, leftovers, you know what it means, U-turn, anything. Corv just kind of stands on business. And I mean, yeah, I felt like this team needed more specialists as well as more versatility. And I feel like Corv checks the box for specialist, and Diancie checks the box for versatility. And I'm very excited to use this. Torv is a top tier annoying mon in draft. I'm just glad I don't have to face it. However, because I picked up Mega Diancie, I cannot keep Mega Charizard. This is a one Mega only league. I didn't really want to, but like I said, I had to because I loved Mega Diancie so much on my team that I was willing to sacrifice Charizard. Um, you see its stats, it's 2 and 3, but 2 out of the 3 deaths were a skill issue on my part. Outside week 1, I just kind of set in and sacked it to, I believe, an obvious Focus Sash, Infernape, and then a Mega Venusaur because I thought I'd killed for some reason. But it's not all good. It's 4 times weeks of Stealth Rocks, and I had 2 Reluctant Spinners and Iron Shreds and Quavel. Both didn't really want to bring it every week. Both often have 4 Mooslot Syndrome. And it made Charizard a little bit hard to build with. And then additionally, it's got 100 speed, which held it back because, yes, it's got Dragon Dance, Flame Charge, Scale Shot, but a lot of the times, initially, you just want that to be a little faster. If it's 110, you can just outspeed a whole different variety of mons. You would outspeed an Amorous, the Justice Trio, and Keldeo. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of important mons that are from 100 to about 110 that you just love to be able to hit, and then you can't without a setup. Um, it's very good. I'm glad I was able to draft it, but I'm also glad I'm not keeping it, if that makes sense. I picked up a different dragon because I dropped Iron Treads. I found a great ground type, Zygarde. Um, it is my dragon and my ground replacement. It's very versatile. Offensive, defensive. It can be mixed slash special if you really want it to. It's got Coil, Dragon Dance, Mirror Herb, Swagger, which that's a secret tech. To all of my opponents, you didn't hear that. Additionally, it could be defensive with, like I mentioned, Coil. It's got Glare, it's got Sub, it's got Thousand Arrows, which is arguably the best attacking move in the game. Um, so essentially, if you don't know, it's a ground type move that it hits flying types and levitate mons and drops them to the ground. And it's like 90 base power, I think. 100% accuracy, it's crazy. Um, it could be a very good banded user as well as being that kind of replacement to Charizard as a setup sweeper. It's not as threatening, but it's also not 4 times weak to rocks. And then it can also hold an item. It also has extreme speed and coverage. Extreme speed being very important because I don't really have that many priority mons, and ESP allows me to not lose to random Endurosalic berries. And then the coverage, it's got Iron Tail, it's got Steel coverage, Rock coverage. I want to say Psychic coverage. I'm not sure about that. And it just got, I believe it gets Sludge Wave, which, again, I've not actually fact checked. Ice Nose Zygarde is a great mon, and I couldn't believe it's still sitting in free agency. I do believe it got dropped um, early on in the league, but I'm more than glad to have it on my team. Now, I didn't want to do this one either, but with Mega Diancie getting taken, I felt as if I didn't have enough room to keep Gardevoir as well. I wanted a different Terra Captain. Um, yeah, or Gardevoir is an insane Terra Captain. It basically turns into a Nam except with bad stats. Um, A speed is very middling because I found out that it doesn't want to run Scarf all the time. While yes, Moonblast is very spammable, Gardevoir loves its coverage options, and a lot of the time it can force 50-50s or bad positioning. And Ice Wish is a little bit more bulky. It's not bulky enough to warrant using defensively, which is a shame because it gets amazing support moves. Destiny Bond, Tricked, Wish Pass, um, T-Wave, Will-O-Wisp, and just some other good moves that it can't really use because of the horrendous HP and defense stat. But yeah, it was my kill leader, and it's just not anymore because it's not on my roster. I'm a little sad to see it. I'm also glad I got to try Gardevoir, and I recommend you do too. This thing is so fun. You send a Scarf, Terra Fairy, and just click Moonblast, and yeah, just watch Resist take like 45. It could also run Specs. It's a great Specs user. It just I didn't have enough room to fit it, so I went with a different Terra Captain. I needed a Fire, and I needed a Dark type, and I needed some positioning and some momentum. And I saw Incineroar at the board at 10. Essentially, I'm just using my extra point from the Chien Pao trade to upgrade Gardevoir. It's a semi-defensive pivot. The stats are all very balanced. It could be offensively or defensively versatile. It's a great AV user. It can fit most roles seamlessly. If you need this to be an attacker, it can. If you need this to be a sweeper, it can. Flame Charge is not that great coming off, 60 base speed, but it's workable, right? It gets insane coverage and just a truly incredible moveset. It gets Parting Shot, U-Turn, Will-O-Wisp, Taunt, Knockoff, and just stuff like Drain Punch, Close Combat, maybe? Leech Life, Outrage. The moves the moves that this thing gets is just unreal. You want to think about it. It gets Fake Out, and I know this isn't no VGC, but I believe Incineroar is going to work in singles too. It's an underrated wall breaker. Okay, sorry about that. Like I was saying before, the air conditioning unit decided to go crazy on me. Incineroar is a very underrated attacker. That 115 attack stat with Terra is no joke. Could easily be a bulky band set and just wall break with the coverage I was talking about earlier. I don't think I mentioned Earthquake, but it's Earthquake. It can really just open holes for some of my other threats like Quavefull, Zygarde, Spectre, Mega Diancie to really just win me games late. But yeah, and Incineroar is going to be a very valuable member to my team. And then finally, I dropped Rotom Fan. Rotom Fan was good, but it was always the seventh mon in my building. Um, I wanted to bring it every week, but never found a room to for the most part. It felt very pigeonholed into bulky pivot, and I believe if you're using Rotom strictly as a bulky pivot, then you're losing value. Rotom is a great offensive mod. It gets Nasty Plot. It's a great Scarfer with a trick and very good or pretty good attacking stats. Specifically, Rotom Wash with Hydro Pump. Um, I don't know. I just felt like there's some upgrade I could make, and with my bulkier mons now coming, like Zygarde, like Corviknight, I felt like that I could upgrade into a more offensive Pokemon and Terra Cap for the same price, and it just Rotom Fan's going a different route from what benefited me. And it's also rock sweaks and easily chippable. Now it does have pain split and status, but alas. And I did not change the stats. It doesn't actually have 5 kills, 3 deaths. I decided to go with Raichu, which I almost called Raikou, which it might as well be. Um, It's offensively versatile. You think of it as a strictly special attacker, but it's got 90 attack, and with Terra, you can capitalize off that with like Silk Scarf, um, Extreme Speed, and Fake Out, and maybe Last Resort if it gets it. And it's good with multiple items: Life Orb, Specs, Expert Belt. Think of this like Jolteon at home. And I used Jolteon in Season 8, and I believe it was my second kill leader, and I think I brought it to every single game. Electric type with coverage is a very dangerous mon, especially with Terra, because Raichu also gets Surf and Grass Knot. So if you can Terra into those and hit ground types even harder than what a Terra Blast would. Additionally, it gets two great abilities in Static and in Volt Absorb. Uh, Volt Absorb is good for Terra Water sets. It gets Nasty Plot, I'm sure I already touched on earlier. It's just very good offensively, and I believe if you don't prep for it, then it could get very shisty, get very dangerous. It can run mixed pretty easily. Extreme Speed is just one of those moves that are so good you use it if possible. And yeah, I'm very excited to use Raichu. Now, my new stats. This is the team. Um, I gained 5 average HP, which is good because my HP stats sucked. 7 attack, that's mainly due to Mega Diancie and Incineroar pretty much. I lose a point in defense, which doesn't really matter because the defense doesn't matter as much as the HP does. I lose 7 special attack from dropping. I don't really know, from dropping Gardevoir, I guess, and Rotom Fan. However, I still have 3 mons above 100. Most of my mons are above 80. I gained 2 Spadef, which is nice. Not all of these stats really matter, especially when they're lower significance, or rather lower amounts. But the minus 7 to speed does suck. My speed tiers I felt got a little bit worse. Not that much, but I think you're going to lose that much speed anyways when you drop a mon with 135 speed. I got Mega Diancie, Raichu, and Zygarde all 95 or above. I got some more slower pivots like Corviknight and Incineroar. So I'll take it as a win-win, keep the same BST. And finally, I'm going to try and move by quick because I know I've been yapping. I don't know the exact time, but I can imagine this video is going to take a while. My new type chart. I have all the types but Ice, Rock, and Bug. Um, that's supposed to be Ice, Psychic, and Bug. I messed that up. My apologies. Psychic is the best of the three, but I don't think necessarily we're going to be missing it because what's it good for? Hitting fighting types? Well, I have a Corviknight, I have a Mega Diancie, I have. It's really about it, but like wheezing walls, right? Hitting poison types, I guess. I have a Zygarde, which, isn't great. Poison types can be a little dangerous, but I feel like I can manage to it. The most important part to me is that I'm negatively weak to no types. Now, I am neutrally weak to some important types like ground, like fairy, like fighting, and water, but none of them are negatively. I have 10 immunities in a team with 9 mons, and only one of my mons does not have an immunity, and that is Quaquaval, which, as you can see, resists a lot of typings. So I don't think it's going to be the worst thing ever. 10 immunities is a lot. Now, some of them are um, situational, mainly abilities, such as Wheezing and Raichu. Those are mainly ability based. However, so what? They still count as immunities. If I have electric type that messed me up pretty bad, I'll bring Volt Absorb on Raichu. If I have a ground type that messed me up bad, Wheezing on Levitate. So I think that I did a pretty good job, not salvaging this team, but being able to tear it apart and reconstruct it again. I think I did a very good job at that. And I just want to say thank you all for watching. stay tuned to the channel for the NPBA battles. And I'm moving those from Sunday/Monday to Wednesday. Just makes it easier on me. And if I battle on Sunday, I don't have to flip it around that night, record, do everything. So it's going to be a lot easier on me. And it's the middle of the week, which, if you play Mons, like I imagine most of you do, having something in the middle of the week and not having something Sunday when the week ends, I feel is nice. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Phony, Sam, Pumpun, and a Wish for helping me craft this team from scratch. Yeah, I really just mainly shared my thoughts with them on why I want to do stuff, and they all agreed it's pretty good. Yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Deuces.